years back, I had the great joy of co-writing a book called I Once Was Lost with Don Everett, which is all about the 5 thresholds that people go through on their way to faith in Jesus. This video will give an overview of the 5 thresholds, and then the next 5 videos will go in depth into each of the thresholds and how we can help our friends wherever they are at. Let's start with Jesus. Jesus is a genius at how growth works. In Mark 4:26-29, he tells this parable about a farmer who sows some seed. The farmer expects the seed to grow, but he does not know how. He is confident in the process, but he is not in control. After he throws the seed, he watches, he waits, he is patient. He doesn't know when or where the seed will germinate. But once the seed begins to break forth from the soil, he studies it. He observes the stalk, the head, and the whole head of grain emerging. And then he harvests. The farmer is comfortable with the mystery of the growth process, and he expects the harvest to come year in and year out. He has honed the skills needed to participate in the growth process. He works to cast the seed widely. He knows how to watch and wait. And yet, when it's time for the harvest, he uses the sickle with great skill. It's a mystery and it's a process. We have found the same thing to be true in how people come to faith today. Their journey starts with distrust, moves towards trust, and eventually leads to seeking. We call this the 5 thresholds of conversion. It's neither a science nor a law, but it's a pattern we've noticed as people come to faith. Together, let's study the process of faith and let's develop some skills so that we can participate in this process and share in the joy of the harvest. We want to be good friends to our friends who are on the journey toward faith. So these videos will give some practical suggestions for helping people in each threshold. Here's an overview of the 5 thresholds. Threshold 1. They move from distrust to trust. People today often start in a place of skepticism or distrust toward Christians. In the first threshold, they move into a relationship of trust with a Christian friend. Threshold 2. They move from indifferent to curious. It's possible to have a trust relationship with somebody for years at a time, and yet they take no interest or curiosity about my faith. The second threshold is where their curiosity is sparked. Threshold 3. They move from closed to change to open to change. Once someone becomes curious in the second threshold, they still have yet to own it as something that relates to their personal life. In the third threshold, the penny drops and they realize, this relates to me. Threshold 4. They move from meandering to seeking. This threshold is where someone moves from simply being open to change to actually seeking after Jesus. They're asking questions and they are pursuing the answers. Threshold 5. They move into the kingdom and follow Jesus. This is the wonderful moment when someone has counted the cost and puts their trust in Jesus for the first time. Where do we go from here? Number 1, think about your own journey. How did you move toward the process of faith? Can you tell a story that relates to this faith journey? Number 2, think about a friend. Who do you know who's in the process of faith and who you could help 1 or 2 friends take a step of faith?